So today, on a short little walk through Hyde Park. This section of Hyde Park, which once held what was called Crystal Palace. It was called a Crystal Palace, not the same as Crystal Palace in South London, to correct. So here where the Crystal Palace was built as part of the Great Exhibition, next to the Royal Barracks over there, opposite Prince of Wales Gate, and you got Ennismore Gardens, you would have come in here and seen the Crystal Palace, which was removed, and it took them 2 years. They moved it to Crystal Palace Park, which would have got the name then, I guess, Crystal Palace Park, where it was rebuilt, and it's no longer there. It would have cost too much money to rebuild it. So, a little bit of history there on that one. Just thought I'd correct what I earlier put. There was a works, some sort of works here where they would fabricate buildings a long time ago, fabricate some sort of machinery. It's not here anymore. But it was an exhibition as well where things were bought to show off stuff to do with the British Empire and whatnot for the royals. As I mentioned in the earlier videos, the way certain trees were used to signify a passage from one area of London to another, often from one estate to another, as a way of greeting people or directing people in a sort of show-off way, for lack of a better word, to show off the hubris, to show off the majesty, sophistication of whoever it was to benefit. This leads down to Ducal Wellington Place, which then eventually there's more London plane trees, which we'll get into why they're called that and the history of those at some point, but this leads down towards Buckingham Palace. It's a rich arboretum, this park, where different trees, again by botanists and horticulturalists, that would bring in, possibly through different roles, like the Queen and that would choose out, because if we look at what the Queen was before, I don't know about the King now, but she had a love for different plants and whatnot. So this would be a way, an arboretum being a store of various different trees. You go Kew Gardens, places like that, different trees. Botanical garden would be different plants, but an arboretum would be different trees. And again, along this path, not only do we start off with one, I want to get to this tree here, which is a elm tree, a different type of elm tree. I believe it's a Siberian elm. There's many different ones. I'm going to say this one's Siberian elm. People can disagree in the comments. But we've got different oaks, and again, the horse chestnuts, what I loved for the way that they flower, because of those stand-up chandeliers. But they're again another path leading people from one section to another. It's a way of rolling out the red carpet. I want to look at this elm tree here, Ulmus pumila, if it is the Siberian elm. I'll tell you why. I'm pretty sure it's a Siberian elm. It's because of the leaves on this one, and this is unusual for an elm tree. But where you can tell it's an elm off the leaves, where it's connected to the petiole, it has an uneven connection at the base here. You see one bit is longer than the other. And now this elm, with the serrated spear-like or lance-like leaf, they're normally wider. This has a unique setup. And it has these seeds which are edible. And to show that, I will eat one. They're singular. My books say that they are singular like that, in that cluster. Let's see. So we know 100% that's an elm. A bit late to be eating these ones. We'll try some of these younger looking green ones. Not much taste to it, but certainly edible. If you catch them much younger in their growth, got some younger ones. There, we'll try those. Look at that deep. Yeah, they're definitely edible. They're soft and they dissolve nicely in the mouth. Now, look at that thick, fissured, cracked bark. Now, a lot of elm trees have suffered Dutch elm disease, which has killed off a lot, you could say. There's so much that we have in common with trees. But this Siberian elm is much more resistant to that, which might be why it was chosen to be here. What I like the way on this tree, what becomes obvious, is the northern side has a lot less growth to it than the southern side. And who can guess why? It shall be because the tree doesn't want to waste energy on the north side. It knows that the the sun rises in the east, rolls round the south, sets in the west. So where this tree is here, it's focused its energy on the south side because it knows no point wasting energy on the north side. What I'd also like to show in this tree is a infected branch. This could be where water has got in, an infection is setting in on this branch. So a mistake that I've made there is, even though I knew it was affected, I forgot because I was doing it for the video. You shouldn't eat things off of branches that are infected. Luckily I only had a few and they were young, who knows. But where water comes up through the trunk and then spreads past where the infected part is, you can even see the way the coloration changes afterwards. You could call that like a gangrene that a human would get in their infection. That taints whatever you might want to forage after it. Don't make the mistake I just made. Now this infection on the branch would allow parasitic fungus to get in, and fungi grows through the soil. There could be thousands of different types of mitochondria, or mycelium rather, different growths of fungi patterns that like to latch onto different trees where they make an exchange. Good fungi often helps trees by removing metals and toxins from the ground that the tree can then drink up that water, and in that exchange it provides sugars for its leaves back down to those fungi. Fungi, interestingly, is not quite a plant, not quite an animal, has more in common with insects. It's thinking. So it helps the tree's growth, and the tree in return sacrifices some of its energy production to the fungi under the ground. It pairs up with the trees so that they can grow in unison. And you'll see certain fungi like certain trees, and when you're foraging for mushrooms, you'll look out for certain trees. I'm early in my mushroom hunting. Most of the fungi, edible fungi I've eaten, actually grow with the horse chestnut. Now the horse chestnut being poisonous for humans or toxic, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the mushroom will be. For the mushrooms good edible mushrooms tend to filter out any of the toxins from the tree that they're living in unison with. Coco over there sniffing his heart away. Dogs that see the world better with their nose than they do with their eyes. It is a wonderful world that we live in, and the message of God is written in everything. If only you can slow down enough to take in the beauty that this world has to offer. Take care of yourselves, and we shall speak again.